All right, so now I'm going to tell you all how to make a line graph. You usually do this if you ran a regression. And so I collected data. I went out into the forest and I counted how many birds I saw and how many coyotes I saw. So that's a regression because they're both numerical. And so I want a graph to kind of, represent this relationship. So I do, first I go over here to insert at the very top. And you might think, oh, I need this line graph. You don't. You don't want a line graph. You want to highlight your data. And you actually want a scatter plot, this first scatter plot. Great. What are you going to do? So here's your data. Amazing. So now you need to actually make it a little bit more helpful because all of this stuff doesn't really tell you anything. So where it says coyotes, you can just delete that. You don't need a title. All of these like hash marks are grid lines. And what you can do is you go over here to where it says add chart element. And if you can't see that, it's probably because you're not clicked onto your graph. So if you go and you're like, oh, where is that? Click on your graph first. It's under here, chart tools, design, add chart element. Where it says grid lines, you just want to unclick them. Okay, so now we have no horizontal. We don't want any vertical. So now you have none of those grid lines. So they're not messing up. Great. Now you need your axes labels because what in the heck is any of this stuff? So you go to axis titles, your horizontal, and then you label this. So for me, that is the number of birds I saw. Right there. Amazing. And then you're going to do the same thing for your vertical. This is the number of coyotes you saw. There you go. So now you can see when you saw 5 coyotes, you saw 1 bird. Or when you saw like 7 coyotes, same thing. Now, the only other thing we add here is you go to add chart element and you want a trend line. So it kind of tells you like, what is this relationship? And so you're going to choose a linear trend line. So you can see that in general, with our data, as you see more birds, it increases and you see more coyotes. That's it. That is your graph. You want to make sure you save this because this graph has to go on to your final paper. Now, the last thing, sorry, I said that's it, and I should have. There is one more thing. Excel automatically puts in these blue dots. That doesn't always make sense for your data. And so you don't want to have any color unless it makes sense for your data. So I'm going to highlight the dots, and you see they're all highlighted. Go to format. And instead of them being blue, oh, wait, hold on. Okay, sorry. I click it and they're all highlighted. And now you're going to go to this paint bucket over here. So your marker options, they're blue. If you're like, I don't want blue, that doesn't make sense. Maybe I want green because I was in a forest. So now all of my markers are green. You can do the same thing with the line. I want my line to also be green. It's not a great color of green, but there you go. So now I've got green and green because I was in a forest. So then if you want to put this into your paper, which you have to, you're just going to right click it and press copy, and then you're going to paste it into your paper. And there you go. There is your line graph. If you're in a regression, this is what you need to do. Super easy.